All right, guys, we're digging more into this proving triangles congruent. So I'm calling this proving triangles congruent 2, but it is a continuation of the previous lesson, just digging into it a little more baby steps here. So these are the reasons we had for congruence. If you go back to the last lesson and rewatch that if you need to, SSS, SAS, AAS, ASA. Okay, hopefully you did the last assignment and those should make sense what I'm talking about there. If not, go back and review that lesson. Okay, there is one that doesn't work and I'm going to show you why. SSA, even though it is 3 pieces, does not work. Does not prove congruence, okay? And I'll show you why. So these are really the 4 we're going to use as reasons. Okay, so here's some examples of what your assignment's going to look like. You're going to be given out information. It will say you don't need to draw these out to scale. You can just freehand them for this one because it's more getting into the idea. Drawing them to scale is important so you can see and build understanding, but at some point you can say, well, I can just sketch this out and see what's going on here once you have the understanding. Okay, so there was a reason for drawing them to scale. All right, so let's try to draw this scenario out. We got triangle JKL and MNO. It's a little tricky to figure out where to put all the letters. So you just got to kind of start and see what happens. And if you got to fix your drawing, you can fix it as you go. So I'll do JK as 6. And then I'll say, okay, KL is 4. I don't know. Let's just kind of sketch it lightly because I want to make sure angle K is about 40. So again, doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm trying to make it roughly 40 degrees there just so I have a better idea what's going on here. Okay, so the scenario basically looks like that. L would be here. So it takes a little thought to get your drawing, but kind of just play around with it and get it to work out. So those are the 3 pieces. Then you'd be given another triangle you got to sketch. That would be kind of similar. Just be careful. NO is 4 now. Again, I don't have it planned out in my head exactly what this is going to look like until I draw it. OM is going to be 6 and angle O. So it's kind of similar where the angle up here is going to be a 40. So I'm going to make this come down kind of roughly like this. This is M and this is the 40. Okay. So the question is, are they congruent? Are these triangles congruent? If you kind of look at it, they kind of look the same. And, we need a reason. The reason is going to be one of these. Okay, so you see we have 2 sides matching. We got an angle matching. And on both triangles, the angle is in between the sides. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we say side, angle, side. Okay, we got a side that matches, an angle that matches, a side that matches, and the angle is in between the sides. Okay, on this triangle, the angle is between the sides. On this triangle, the angle is between the sides. If that happens, that is SAS. Okay, and that would prove that they're congruent. So are they congruent? Yeah, they have to be. The reason, SAS. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, you need to go back and look at the previous lesson because that's where we built the understanding for this. Okay, let's do one more. Let me show you why that SSA doesn't work. Give me a second to sketch it out again. JK is 6. Again, I'm just kind of, KL is going to be 8. The L is going to be 30, so the 30 is kind of over here. So it looks like if I go kind of like this, that would be pretty good. 30 goes here. Okay, so it looks something like that. And then I've got this other one. MN is 6. And O is 8 and O is 30. So it's kind of similar scenario where the O is down here. This is 8. And this is 30. Okay, so you say, well, okay, these are congruent. I got 3 pieces, but there is this scenario. What's going on here? I've got side, side, and an angle. The angle's not between the 2 sides. So it's not this. It's not this one because this one, remember, the angle had to be in between the 2 sides. And that's the only one that has 2 sides and an angle. So it's not that one. It's actually this scenario, side, side, angle, which would be, if you want to put more information there, that this would be the angle is not between the two sides. Okay, if that happens, it's not enough to prove it. The angle is not between the two sides. So look here, the angle is not between, meaning where these two sides meet, I don't know that angle. Okay, where these two sides meet, I don't know the angle. The angle here is not in between them. So that is SSA scenario. So are they congruent? They could be, but I can't prove it. Okay, I can't prove. So I'm gonna say no, can't prove, just to be more detailed there, because they might be congruent. Can't prove it. So there's no congruence. There's no reason. I mean, you could say SSA does not work. Okay, something like that. SSA is not a congruence reason. Okay, if you want a visual of why these aren't congruent, is because I could have potentially drawn this 6 going like, say, here. Okay, and I'll just show you that. I could have drawn the 6 here going on an angle back like this, and I still would have had side angle, but obviously these two triangles are not congruent. So there is that kind of catch there that SSA does not work. Okay, but the rest of these all work. So you need to draw it out. You need to draw the triangles out. You don't need to use a protractor, and you need to look at this picture and say, hey, what reason out of these is it? And if these don't make sense to you, again, you need to go back and look at lesson 3.5 and make sure you get that, because that was what you needed first. Okay, have a good day, guys.